everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be a final book support group reading vlog. So final book support group is hosted by Steph over at Steph Loves. I have participated in this pretty much ever since she started doing it, but obviously I've only started doing YouTube this year. So I'll leave the link to the playlist of the vlogs that I've already made so far. But before we get into the books I'm going to be reading for this video, please remember to like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe for more bookish content. So let's get into the books I'm planning on reading for this video. So final book support group is, as it says on the tin, you read final books or you continue series. So I've got 2 series to continue and 2 series that I'm planning on finishing. I don't know if I'm going to get to all 4, but I'm going to give it a good go. So the 2 series I'm hoping to continue are the Beautiful series by Rene Adieh. So I've got the second book, which is The Damned. And then the next series is the Foundry Side series by Robert Jackson Bennett. And I'll be reading the second one, which is Shortfall. And then the 2 series I'm hoping to finish. So the first one is Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the third and final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series by Kerri Maniscalco. And then the final book is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second and the final book in the Divine Rivals series. So I think I'm going to start by reading Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. So in this series we're following Amelia, and in the beginning of the very first book her twin is murdered and she decides to hunt down the killer and find out what actually happened to her sister. We've gone a long way since then. This series is very popular, so I feel like a lot of people probably know what it's about. It's a fantasy romance and I really enjoyed the first one. The second book was a complete change in direction for me and it kind of put me off finishing the series, but I am going to finish the series and hopefully I do enjoy this one. I'm hoping it's kind of the same vibes as the first book, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about this one. So yeah, let's get reading. Hey guys, so I'm just checking back in. I have started reading Kingdom of the Feared and I'm DNF in this one. I really enjoyed the first book in this series, and then the second book took a completely different turn that I didn't really enjoy. And then this one is obviously more of the same like the second book, but I'm just not really interested in it. Like, there's just so much sex, or like, I don't know, it's just too much. And like, I'm really interested in the actual plot of this one, so like all the demons and like the murders and stuff, and it's just like sex, and I'm just like, guys, you've got other stuff to do, and it's just too much. And I'm just like, I've just got to it where they were sat in like a casino, and like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not interested. I just can't. So I'm DNFing that one. I don't really know what I want to read next. I think next, I'm going to pick up The Damned by Rene Adieh. This is the second book in the Beautiful series, and so this is a continuation station. This one is about vampires in New Orleans. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first book in this series. I read it for a Reading the Oldest Books on my TBR vlog, so I'll link that above. And I'm really excited to get into the second one. Hopefully this one is actually good. I just can't with some series. I'm not forcing myself to do it. So I check back in with you guys hopefully when I've got a bit of a better update for you. Hey guys, I'm just checking back in. I have now started reading Shortfall by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm just about 180 pages in and did leave it in the middle of a chapter. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm really enjoying being back in this world. So in this one we're following a girl, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce her name. It's Sanchia, and she lives in this world. It's kind of like a Victorian Industrial Revolution kind of vibe, and there's this magic system where it's called scribing, and if you have this ability you can like sort of write things onto objects and make them behave in a certain way. So for example, like bullets and stuff, they don't fly, they think that they're falling, and you can like scribe boxes to make them think that they're heavier than they are and things like that. I don't do a very good job of explaining it. I would just recommend honestly just reading this book. This series is really good. So we've moved on quite a bit since the first one, and this is kind of like we've got to save the world from the big bad evil kind of thing, and it's really good so far. So we dive straight into the action. There's like a bit of a heist scene, and then we kind of slowly move into the sort of plot of, I think, probably the rest of this series. I don't know if this is going to be contained in this book. Sanchia has some sort of abilities that we found out about in the first book, and we're kind of exploring the history of that, and one of her friends also has kind of a history. I'm trying to be a bit vague. I don't want to give away what's happened and things like that, but yeah, it's really good so far. I'm really enjoying being back in this world. Robert Jackson Bennett's writing style is so fast paced, it's so well explained. Like honestly, I only left it in the middle of a chapter because I was like literally falling asleep. I stayed up later than I should have reading this last night. But yeah, I'm really enjoying being back in this world, and I can't wait to carry on with this one. And I'll check back in with you guys when I got a bit of another update for you. But yeah, really loving being back in this world. Hey guys, so I'm just checking back in as I have now finished reading Shortfall by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is the second book in the Foundryside series. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to give this one 4 stars. This was a really solid middle book in this series. There wasn't too much action going on, but the plot moved along really nicely, and we've set things up for the third and final book really well. Even though there wasn't too much action in this book, there was still a lot going on. It was very character driven and definitely more focused on the sort of smaller aspects of the plot, really, like I said, setting up for the third book. And there was a few sort of turns I kind of didn't see coming, and this has really opened up like the sort of the magic, the technology of this world as well, which is really interesting. So like I said, this is going to get a 4 star from me. I'm really excited to read the third book in this series, hopefully before the end of this year, but we'll see. So that moves us on to the third book for this vlog, which is going to be The Damned by Rene Adieh. My copy of it is downstairs, so I'll make a start on this one and come check back in when I've got an update for you guys. Hey guys, so I'm just checking in. I have now started reading The Damned by Rene Adieh. I'm just about halfway or just under halfway through. I have to say I'm not loving this one as much as I loved the first book in this series, which was The Beautiful. So the first one felt very much like a very action-packed, intense read with a lot going on, and this one so far is very much sort of the aftermath of that first book, which is fine, and then it's just a lot of kind of nothing. There's just a lot of kind of like, oh, I feel sad, and like I don't know what to do with my life, and pining after someone, and not a lot is really advancing the plot so far. I mean, I am only halfway. It could, you know, improve in the next half of the book. I am still interested in this series. It's a 4-book series, and I definitely think maybe a lot of this could have been just kind of cut out so far. Still liking this book. I'm enjoying the atmosphere of, like, you know, vampires in New Orleans, or like, are they vampires? Like, yeah, it's still good. It's just kind of, it's definitely opening up the world a bit more as well. At the end of the last book, we kind of learned that maybe there's not just vampires in New Orleans, there's other sort of magical creatures as well, which I won't go into because like I don't want to spoil anything. So that is kind of opening up the world a little bit. We're learning a little bit more about that, but not too much. There's only a few chapters about that. But yeah, it's kind of a lot of nothing at the moment. But it's still quite a quick read. I mean, it's YA. It's not going to take me too long to read this. I'm not loving it as much as I loved the first one, and maybe I went into this one with a bit too high expectations. But yeah, this is definitely suffering from like not even middle book syndrome because it's the second book in a 4-book series. But yeah, like kind of like middle book syndrome. But yeah, I'm still liking it. I'm still going to carry on, and hopefully, you know, it gets a bit better towards the end of the book. But yeah, I'll check back in with you when I finish this one. Hey guys, so I'm just checking back in. I have now finished reading The Damned by Rene Adieh. So I'm going to give this one a 3.5 stars. The second half of this book did get better. We really opened up the world, we progressed with the plot. Yeah, I think the first half of this book was just very filler, or just maybe she didn't know how to move it on to the rest of the story. But yeah, the second half was definitely a lot better. Our characters actually felt like they were kind of doing something, and like I said, we've opened up this world even more. Obviously, this is following vampires in New Orleans, and we've also met a lot of other magical creatures now, so it's more than just vampires now, which is really exciting. And I'm excited to continue this series and see where we go with all these new magical creatures and where this plot is going to go. It kind of progressed in a way that I wasn't expecting. Obviously, with opening up the world and having all these different magical creatures, I wasn't really expecting that. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I've got no idea. I'm still really enjoying this series, just the first half was a bit meh, which is fine. But yeah, that's another series continued, and like I said, I gave this one a 3.5 stars. So we're going to move on to the final book for this vlog, which is going to be Ruthless, Vows by Rebecca Roth. This is a duology, so this is a final book, and we can get this one finished. I'm going to have a bit of lunch and then start this one afterwards, and I'll check back in with you guys once I've started this one. But I did really enjoy the first one in this series, and I have heard a few mixed things about this final book. It's a YA, it's going to be a bit of fun, it's going to be a quick read, and I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this one. So yeah, I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so it's later on in the day. I am now just about 140 pages through Ruthless, Vows by Rebecca Roth, and I want to preface this by saying that I didn't love the first book as much as everyone else seems to, which is Divine Rivals. When I read it, I gave it a 4-star rating. I think actually on reflection it's more of like a 3.5 because I did enjoy it. So in Divine Rivals, we're following 2 characters, Iris and Roman, and they are both vying for a columnist position at the newspaper that they work for. And in this world, there's gods that are warring with each other, and is very much set in a wartime setting. Obviously, you've got these gods warring with each other, but the fantasy aspects are very, I'm not sure if weak or if like soft is the right word. It does feel like Rebecca Ross wanted to write like a sort of wartime romance, and she just sort of sprinkled a bit of fantasy in, maybe because the publisher told her to, I don't know, but the fantasy aspects are on the lighter side, which is fine, not a bad thing. It's just not my preference, and I did enjoy like the romance between the two characters, but I just don't think that this book needed to be written. I think that the first book could have been a bit longer and wrapped up as a standalone. This is very much repeating what happened in the first book. So at the very end of the first book, there's like a bit of a shock sort of reveal, and in the start of this book we just kind of bypass that, and it is just the first book all over again. Now, I am only 140 pages in. It's just very repetitive from the first book, and this is why I say that I don't think this needs to be written. I do think that she could have just written a bit more into Divine Rivals and wrapped the story up there. That being said, I'm still interested in where this is going to go, but yeah, I just don't love this series as much as everyone else seems to. And again, it's YA, I'm not the target audience, but I am liking it, I'm enjoying it still. I'm interested to see where this is going to go, but I do think this is just going to be kind of like just a repeat, like a literal repeat of Divine Rivals. So yeah, that's where we stand with this one at the moment. It is a quick read, however, like those 140 pages did not take me long to read, and I am enjoying it. It's just, yeah, I'm not loving it. Like, I'm liking it, you know? And yeah, I think I'll read a bit more and check back in with you guys if anything changes, but I don't think anything will. Like, hopefully as we progress through this book we get a bit more of a different plot, but yeah, we'll see. Like I said when I spoke about this book previously, I do know that people who love Divine Rivals didn't seem to love this one as much, so yeah, we'll see what I think about this one. But yeah, I'm not expecting to love it, but hopefully I do enjoy it. But yeah, I'll check back in with you guys a bit later on. Hey guys, so I'm just popping in to wrap this reading vlog up now. I have now finished Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I did like this one. I'm going to give it a 3.5 though. I do stand by what I said previously, that I do think this could have just been a standalone, well, Divine Rivals could have just been a standalone and just a little bit longer, because I feel like a lot of this book was just kind of not really happened. It was a bit of a repeat of the first book. It wrapped up pretty quickly, and yeah, it was just a bit anticlimactic, like definitely not as good as the first one. But yeah, I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I still recommend this series if it sounds interesting to you. But yeah, if you're more into like high fantasy like me, I don't think you'd really like this that much. So that brings this round of final book support group to an end. So I DNF'd Kingdom of the Feared. Still kind of finished the series. I just decided not to finish it. I'm done with that series. We continued the Foundry Side series, we continued the Beautiful series, and we wrapped up the duology, which was the Divine Rivals duology. So pretty successful round, I think. That's going to be it for today's video. If you've made it this far, please remember to like this video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe for more bookish content. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!